Hey guys, Poplar Mechanic here. So I'm gonna be porting out this cylinder in this 200T, and I just thought I'd share this experience with you guys. I'm not an expert by any means, but I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do with it. I'm not gonna get into the timing side of it too much. I'm just gonna clean everything up, open it up, open up the exhaust, all that kind of stuff. I'm probably going to do a gasket delete on this one as well, and I've been reading up on it, and apparently the gasket delete isn't going to change the timing enough for it to run like shit, so it should be pretty good. There'll be some definite compression gains there. Okay guys, so as you can see, I got everything torn down now. I haven't done that in a while, but it went pretty good all in all. A few parts I need. Not too bad. So we end up with the cylinder here. So now I'll just explain what I'll be doing. So I'm going to be opening up this intake port a little bit. Obviously not that much on this edge because it's pretty thin there already. But I'll be opening that hole up with the Dremel, making everything smooth, bringing this lip right here down, so it's just more air and fuel getting in there. Then I'll be doing the exhaust. So basically what I'll be doing is just opening this up, but mostly nothing inside the wall. Like nothing inside the wall, the cylinder. I won't be touching any of that. I'm just going to be opening, make a nice smooth transition to open this up a little bit, and we'll see what that does for me. And then obviously I'm doing the gasket delete basically, which is, I know guys say don't run with the gasket, but I'm using the I'll be using some sealant stuff I got in the shop, some gasket sealer, which should do just fine.
You and me, hanging from the willow tree, quietly drifting in the open breeze. Suddenly, the wind blows you away from me. Now
Alright guys, so update on this. I finished my opening of the exhaust port here. It actually looks pretty good. There's a couple little imperfections, but not bad for pretty much my first try. So I think I'm going to call that good. I opened that up quite a bit. Now I'm going to do the intake side, and then I'll show you that when that's finished. I'm not doing too much there. No, it looks really good. Alright guys, so I finished the intake side. That's about as much as I'm going to take off of there. It looks pretty good. Nice and clean and smooth. And just a side note here, with these Dremel kits you can get, they come with these sanding bits. So after I hit it, I've got a few carbide bits here, I'll show you. So I start off with, you know, a bigger size one. Get most of the material that needs to be removed. These are really good. They remove aluminum just super quick. So I'll use this, and then I've got a couple other thinner ones. I don't have to get them, but they basically look like this, but they're thinner. You can do touch-ups with that. Then I move to these little sanders that come with the Dremel kits. Yours might tell the grit. I don't believe mine does, but anyways, I go to this one. That kind of smooths everything out. And then what I ended up doing actually is making my own. So I went to Canadian Tire and picked up some 220, okay, and you just cut yourself some little strips and you can super glue them together, and then they go into the Dremel attachment like that. So I start with a 220 once I finish with this guy here, and I go to a 600 after that, and that really smooths it up. Okay guys, so I got the intake, the exhaust done. Now what I did, this is a bit of a hack. These things are kind of tough to, but I had to open up this gasket obviously so it fits on here without impeding the hole and without impeding the airflow there. So I did that, and then you also have to go to the muffler side of things and clean that up as well. Now I measured this hole. Another option you could do is take this off and then you could line it right up, but I just don't want to break the seal in here. I don't feel like it right now. So yeah, basically all I did is make sure that this hole here matches up with this one. So, and nothing's restricting the airflow in between. So you just got a straight shot into there. So I opened that up. It wasn't as bad as I thought, and then I just used the carbide bits, and then I just sanded it with the first with this bit here. Okay guys, so I put the cylinder back on here. I just got her tightened down. You can see the gasket sealant come out. I forgot to show it, but you really got to be careful you don't put too much. Just put a little bit of that stuff on your fingers and smear it around. You need a very little bit because you don't want it getting inside on the crank and stuff like that. So I just thought I'd show that to you. Okay guys, so I've got the gasket sealer on there and everything like that. Port work looks pretty good for my first time. Well, I've practiced on a few cylinders, but pretty much my first one I'm hoping is going to work well. Like I said, on the intake here we just removed this casting imperfection, or that little lip, just to give it more flow. So yeah, no, this went together pretty well. So now I'm gonna check the squish, and I've watched a few guys do this online, and I'm gonna use a piece of solder. So just a regular piece of solder here. Basically I'm just gonna be curving the end a little bit like this. We'll drop her in the hole. I've got the flywheel nut on. So now once it's pressing against that solder, because it will, then you use a wrench or a socket on here, and you'll just turn it. There, and it went past. And then we'll measure this. So that's our reading right there, which is 21 thousandths of an inch. Okay, so that's what my squish is, which is pretty much bang on. Let's see what that is in millimeters. 0.5, so it's basically half a millimeter. And I think it went pretty good, guys. I got basically right on the number I wanted to get on. Now I just got to put her all back together and see if she cuts. Probably have to tune her a little bit, but we'll see when we get back there. And that works pretty good, that piece of solder. I've seen a few guys use that, and it really does work. You can get a good measurement of what you need to get. Oh yeah, I was going to mention this too. Now, I used the gasket stuff obviously, but what I also did is, you don't need to machine anything, but I took a sandpaper pad, just like this guy here. Okay, just took a sandpaper pad and I put it down on the bench, and I just sanded a little bit off the bottom. Not a lot though, so just keep that in mind. I honestly did maybe 5-6 strokes pushing hard, just to smooth it out and drop it just the slightest increments. But I mean, at this point, all these small measurements seem to matter. Okay guys, so I got the old 200T pretty much back together here. We're just going to test the compression on it. Exhaust looks good, so I'm going to test the compression on it real quick. Then we're going to fire it up and let it run. Okay, so just with the gasket delete and some minor sanding on the deck there, We ended up getting 150, 60, about 170 psi out of her, which is pretty good. And I did have a little bit of room left. I just didn't see that it was necessary, so the numbers look good to me. I'm pretty happy with that, so that's pretty good. Let's let the air out of her. That's pretty good compression. You can tell just from pulling it, it's gonna work. But anyways, let's fire it up, boys. I've been waiting for this for a while. But yeah, I just couldn't wait to fire it up. I had to test it out. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see it in the cut. I actually don't have a chain for it, believe it or not, right now, which isn't the end of the world, but I could go make one. But it's just I'm running out of time this weekend with snow removal and everything else we've been doing. So once I get this back together, I might have to get a sweet bar for it. And the next time you guys see this thing, it'll be cut in lumber. All right, have a good one, guys.